Are you suffering from hair loss? Does it make you feel extremely self conscious and very not so beautiful? Well, today we're going to be talking about how to manage your insecurities surrounding hair loss. If you are interested in this video, keep watching. Hello everyone, this is Nikisha Low Motivates for your dose of faith and life-based motivation. I know it has been a while since I've made a YouTube video, but I am back for the time being. So today I want to talk about how to manage our hair loss insecurities in a world that is, in my opinion, very superficial. I know that for women, hair is a big part of how we see and view ourselves, and also a part of our femininity. Okay, you know that word, feminine, that. I'll put it somewhere. So for me personally, I've been struggling with hair loss for the last decade or so, I would want to say. And I've realized over the years that it has progressed. Now, a little backstory. When I first realized that I was losing my hair on the right side of my head, which I'll show you in a bit, I recognized it when I was a full-blown relaxer girl. So I went to get my hair done one day, and the hairdresser at the time did not rinse out the relaxer out of my hair properly. And since that time, I have been struggling with hair loss predominantly on this side, the right side of my head. And over the years, I've been experimenting with hair bleaching, hair dyeing, relaxers, texturizers, which are still relaxers, just a milder form. But then again, I have used a texturizer kit to relax my hair, so it's still a relaxer. Just if you leave it on less time, you will get a looser curl texture, a curl pattern, than if you would leave it on for a longer time, wherein your hair would become straighter to give you that relaxed look, right? So I've been struggling with my hair loss issues since, like I said, over a decade ago. But I've realized that since I became pregnant, like my hair grew a lot while I was pregnant. I think that may have been contributed to the hormone changes, and I was on prenatal vitamins and all of that. My hair was beautiful. It was gorgeous. But there was still some thinning on this side of my head. Being me is like when you cut your hair once, at least in my experience, it seems as if I just have a little tendency now to continuously be cutting my hair. Like I have totally lost count of how many times I've actually cut my hair in the last 10 years. Can you imagine the amount of hair growth I would have had I not been cutting my hair constantly throughout that time? But anyways, let's not talk about that. Let's not go there. So because I became pregnant, and while I was pregnant, I was on the prenatal vitamins and so forth, my hair was flourishing, like I said. And then I went and I bleached the tips, and then next thing you know, I bleached the entire head. So cutting a long story short, after that episode, I had a moment where my hair was coming out from the crown, just in my hand. That was from the over processing from the chemicals. But after that, I had cut it all off and my hair was growing out. And then I don't remember what it was that happened one day. I don't know if it was, I think it was after the chemical service, but not like immediately after. I wasn't experiencing any hair loss in the back of my head or in the front or in the crown or anything of that sort, out of the incident that happened with the hair bleaching gone wrong. But I went to see a dermatologist because before I had done all of this, like I said, the hair loss situation would have been happening, but it has gotten worse over the years. And so I went to see a dermatologist, and I had shaved my head before going. And when I went, she took pictures of my head in the back, in the front, and the sides for me to see how my hair loss had progressed. And when she took the pictures and she showed them to me, like, I'm not even going to lie, I cried. I literally cried. I bawled in the lady's office, and she was there trying to console me, telling me that it's okay and she understands and all of that. I was crying because when she showed me the picture, my hair, I didn't know I was losing hair in the back of my head. Like, I had no idea. My hair, the hairline at the back of my head had, we call it now, receded up, going up into the top of my head. The sides were going up to the top of my head on both sides, and the front basically was receding backwards. And it was so frustrating when I saw it, and it really affected how I viewed myself. Like, I became really insecure. I think I was fine up until that point. I became really insecure. And yes, scripture says that we ought to cover our heads as women when we're praying or prophesying, and it does say that having a shaved head as a woman is a shame, right? So I get all of that. I believe that, and I accept that. However, different situations may result in a woman having to shave her head, whether it's alopecia, which is what I have, or whether it's cancer if they're going through chemotherapy, or lupus or any other type of illness or disease, or practices that led up, or medications too sometimes can cause hair loss. Whatever it is that causes a woman to go bald, there are various things that can cause that. And so I know for me, like, I took a big hit because I started hiding behind these headscarves. I mean, yes, they're beautiful and I love them and they make me look very feminine. However, when I take off these headscarves, and if my hair is growing and it has grown to a point, I realize that once I look to the right side of my head and I see that the hair there is very sparse or non-existent, like legit bald, it makes me become very self-conscious. And I think it has become so bad that I have made an idol out of my hair, or a lack of it, because I'm saying, oh, my hair is not growing, and it grows to probably about an inch or inch and a half, and then it stops growing. And then I look at the side, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's getting worse, it's going back. And it makes me very conscious, and it affects how I see myself. Like, there are days when I honestly do not like what I see in the mirror. I mean, I love myself, but there are days when I do not like what I see when I look in the mirror, because of the hair loss that I have been experiencing. Like, my husband could tell you, I've been crying, like, on different occasions. I've just been crying, just stressed out, frustrated about it. And then my baby girl would come and say, oh, mommy, don't cry. You'll feel better soon. And that really warms my heart. But it is so frustrating when you have attached so much to your hair, because, I mean, you know, it's a part of you. You're a woman. A woman is usually depicted or expected to have hair on her head, like long hair. And when you realize that for whatever reason you are experiencing hair loss and you don't have that long hair, you do not fit into the societal norm of what a woman should look like in terms of having the long hair. You have hair that's not well set. You have baldness, as Isaiah 3 says about the women of Zion. And it's really frustrating. And so I am still coming to terms with it. Like, I don't want to accept that it's not going to grow back, because I'm really looking forward to it growing back. And so I've been using natural remedies like clove water, and I've recently started using the clove water with onions and rosemary, and I think fenugreek. Just boil them together, and when it boils down, I let it cool and I put it in a spray bottle. And I just started using it like probably a few days ago. And so I'm using that to see if it will help me to get some growth in the areas that I'm struggling to grow here. In like this side of my head, it has not seen hair in years, like years. And then sometimes you might see where it looks like hair is coming in, but then after a while when I look again, I realize that those hairs that I thought I saw, like they're not there anymore. Don't know if they disappeared or I imagined them being there. Like, I have no clue. But it has been an uphill battle, if I'm being very honest. So now that we have that out of the way, let's transition a little bit into how you can manage your hair loss insecurities in this superficial world where we see females being depicted with long flowing hair. Oftentimes, though, it's of a European standard of beauty to say, oh no, you have to have this long straight hair, long curly hair that's flowing down your back, or it's, and that's what a lot of us grew up on, and that's what a lot of us have come to accept and to know as beautiful, which is not the case. Which is not the case. So where do I start? The first step to managing your hair loss insecurities is to first acknowledge that you have that insecurity. Like, your hair has gone, is going, has left, is leaving, and you must be able to accept that, okay, this is happening. But while in the process of accepting it, you have to come to peace with it, to say, okay, acknowledging it. I went into step 2. So first I got to acknowledge it, that it's going. And then step 2 is to accept it. Like, okay, I realize that my hair is going, or it has gone, and this is how I choose to deal with it. So you acknowledge it and you accept it, and you have to process all the feelings that come with losing your hair and how that makes you feel. So I know that for me, not having my hair being well set as I'm accustomed to it being, like, it sometimes makes me feel less beautiful. But I know that that's just a fabric of my own imagination, because I know that outside of my hair, I am still a beautiful person, a beautiful woman. But I have attached so much to my hair that the fact that it's doing what it's doing now, it really hits hard. And there are some days that are better than some. Like, there are some days when I legit just struggle and I just have to cry and bawl and pray, literally pray, and just talk to the Most High and let him know how I'm feeling about it. And then there are other days where I'm like, okay, it's not so bad, I'll just cover it up. And it's good for you to process the feelings that surround you and your hair loss and the insecurities that you may have around it, and just to deal with it. Like, address them. Don't sweep it under the carpet, because I did say carpet. Don't sweep it under the carpet, because your feelings are important, and sooner and later, if you don't address those issues, you're gonna find that they're gonna pop up again at some point in your life, and you really do not want that. You need to process your emotions as you come, as best as possible where needed. So if you are struggling with your hair loss and it makes you insecure, comment down in the comment section and let me know how you have been dealing with this insecurity or these insecurities, what has worked for you and what is working, and any tips or recommendations that you could give to myself or any other woman who is struggling with hair loss. All right. So the third tip is to evaluate your insecurities. Like, are they valid? And also to find ways to complement your hair loss. So for me, I have a surprise for you. So for me, I know that I'm not a makeup person, but I have a little lippy thing going on here. Back in the day, I used to wear makeup, until the Most High convicted me of it. But now I just wear lip glosses. And then I don't know what What got into me? I went and I bought a lipstick the other day, but I can't wear it out like as it is because I think it's too much. So I'll put it on and I'll wipe it off, and then I have a little bit of color left, and then I'll add my lip gloss over it. But outside of that, it's usually just a clear lip gloss and I'm good to go. I love the natural look. I love looking like myself and not like anybody else. So the bag of makeup thing, certainly not for me. But yeah, evaluate your insecurities and see how best you can complement your hair loss. So for me, I decided that instead of waiting for my hair to cut off and do its thing in the back and in the front, I decided to just help it along. So this is how I'm looking. You see this head and this forehead? Oh yeah. So I just decided to take it all off because to me, I can deal with it being low all over versus just having it eat out on one side. I don't know if I can see, well, I don't know if you can see the demarcation line between where my hair follicles are coming in on the top of my head and right here where it's not, or at least it doesn't look that way. I'm not sure if you're able to see. You should be able to see. Yeah. But yeah, that's how it's looking. See here coming in on this side. And yeah, I don't know, this mark is on my scalp. It has been there since I was a child, I think my mommy said, but that's what I'm working with right now. And I have only gone on the road once with my head looking like this, and it wasn't in the town or anything, it was just in my community. And that was interesting because I have been going months now with my head covered, not ever leaving home without a head covering on because of my hair loss insecurities. So I've found that when I keep it low, which I intend to do while I watch to see what's happening, if the hair is going to come back or not, or if it will continue to go backwards and upwards at the back and all of that, I don't know. I'm praying about it. I'm using natural remedies to alleviate somehow the problem. Hopefully they'll work, but nothing is set in stone at this point in time. I'm just trying here. Yeah, I would love for it to come back, but I need to get to the place where I'm comfortable. Like if it doesn't come back, I'm good. You know, I'm working on getting to that place because I still have a lot of identity attached to my hair and femininity. Yes. So while I work on that, you have to find what works for you. It may not be that you'll choose to, you know, cut off all of your hair while you work on solving the issue or remedying the issue as best as possible. But you may choose to head cover full time like I was doing, or that I am doing, because I haven't gone in town looking like this yet. Will I ever do it? I don't know. Because when you look like this, you get unsolicited comments that are sometimes good and that are sometimes bad. Everyone has an opinion as to why you did it, why you should not have done it, and whether or not you look like a man or whatever. And sometimes I'm really just not in the mood to hear all of that. So I just cover it. Plus, head coverings are beautiful and they allow me to add that extra oomph to my outfit and also to up my look as a woman to look more feminine. That's just me. You know, you may not have that, but you know, that's me. I also find that earrings work well with a shaved head, and also my glasses. Yeah, it works fine. Or simply going without any of the additions, like just as you are. As you woke up, you wash your face, you brush your teeth, you wash your head, and you're good to go. Moisturize your face, moisturize your head, put on your sunscreen if you wear it, and you're out the door and that's just you. But it's interesting how sometimes we feel like we have to adorn ourselves a particular way in order to make others feel comfortable, while we in and of ourselves are uncomfortable, if that makes sense. So I'm not talking about dressing scantily clad and anything of that sort. No, because modesty is key, but modesty looks differently, or looks different rather, to different people. Because for me, modesty is a nice skirt or dress with a cardigan or something over it or under it to cover my arms without my armpit showing. Yeah. And the dress or the skirt can be flowy, a bit loose. Sometimes it's not flowy. It might be a little bit close, but not too close. But to me, it wouldn't be too close. But to somebody else looking on, they might think that, okay, that's a bit too tight. You know, somebody still looks different to everybody else, right? So you just have to find where you fit in on your own modesty journey. And you just have to find things, like I said, that complement your insecurities. So instead of drawing attention to your insecurity, you push the attention away from it. So I know for me, if I choose to wear my head out, if everything is low, then it's not very obvious that I have hair loss going on in this section from the front to the back of my head. But if I have hair here and hair here, here, and then you look on the side now and you realize that I'm balding on the side of my head, then it's going to draw attention to it, like, obviously, because there's a clear difference between what's happening on one side of my head versus what's happening on the rest of my head. And that's just how I look at it. So you can choose to wear glasses. You can choose to, or you can choose not to wear glasses, jewelry, if you're into that type of thing. Or you can use head scarves or head covering, like I have been doing. And I recently added earrings to it. And, you know, just find a way to make yourself feel comfortable with your insecurities. And for the things that you can change within reason, then go ahead and change them if it will make you feel better, as long as you're not violating your conscience and that you're not going against the Most High. Yeah. So number 4 is to change what you can, which I just stated, but I didn't remember that it was listed as number 4. So change what you can. So in my case, because I was losing hair on this side of my head, and then in the front it started to go, like the other day my husband said to me, babe, you don't see that your hair front going back. And I said, you know, I thought I saw that, because I realized that my forehead look extra big. Say hello to forehead. And then I was like, oh gosh, it's happening again. And I really don't know what's happening. And then on this side, it's not so bad, but yeah. And then in the back, it was coming up too. So, like, I don't know what's going on with my body. I'm still on a weight loss journey. I'm still doing that. So that may also be a contributing factor. I'm not fasting as much as I used to fast before. So I don't know. That may also be a contributing factor, or my hormones are out of whack, or I don't know. Honestly, I do not know. But change what you can in order to deal with your hair loss. So you may choose to use home remedies. You may choose to go to see a dermatologist who will be able to prescribe something for you, or make some recommendations as to best practices that you can possibly employ to include changing your diet, changing your hair care routine, drinking more water, adopting a healthier lifestyle, medical procedures that you can possibly use, home remedies, and etc., etc. So I just want you to know that you are absolutely beautiful with a little bit of hair, or no hair, or patchy hair, because some people lose their hair in patches. When I went to see the dermatologist, she suspected that I had frontal fibrosing alopecia, where the hair starts going in the front around the perimeter of the head, because that's how the pattern of hair loss at the time was looking. But then when I did some more research, I found another type of alopecia. It's I'm not remembering it right now, but I'll put it on the screen somewhere and you can look it up if you're someone who's experiencing hair loss like myself. So when I looked at that type of alopecia, the pattern that I saw, I think it resembles more of what I've been experiencing. And so she had recommended that I did a scalp, was it a biopsy, something of the scalp, where she could get a sample and take it to the lab and test to see what kind of alopecia it is and what's causing it potentially. But I know that it's an autoimmune disease where the body attacks the hair follicles, which results in the hair falling out. So yeah, that's that. But know that your hair does not define you, whether or not you have a lot of it, or in my case, very little to none of it, or you are more than your hair. You are beautiful with or without your hair. So love yourself and accept yourself the way the Most High created you. And know that not having hair is not the end of the world. There are other things that you can focus your attention on. Not saying it's not important, because hair is important depending on who you ask. And it's a big part of how a lot of women view themselves, or how a lot of we as women view ourselves. And so when we find that that's been taken away for whatever reason, or we choose to take it away because of some of the contributing factors, then our self-esteem and our self-image can definitely take a hit. And so we have to be cognizant of the fact that we are not our hair. Our hair is a part of us, but we are not our hair. Like, there's more to us besides our hair, even though it is a part of who we are. But there's so much more to us outside of just hair. And it's not just hair. I know that people say that it has energy, and you go back to the book, you go back to the story of Samson and his hair and all of that. So hair means different things to different people, but you are beautiful with or without it. Am I advocating for women to shave their heads? Absolutely not. But some of us are going to lose our hair irrespective of whatever we do, for whatever reason. So what I'm saying is, don't make your hair an idol. Don't make yourself an idol. And if it's going, or if it has gone, you are still gorgeous. You're still beautiful. And when your hair is as low as mine, like, people really get to see your face more, your beautiful face. And you just have to ensure that your skincare routine is actually a routine, and you're doing something to take care of your skin, take care of your scalp, and just to be healthier overall. So your beauty is not determined or defined or is limited to your hair. So we've come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for staying with me. If you made it all the way to this point and you found value in what I had to say, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you like the content that I'm bringing, if you like the vibe, feel free to subscribe, and also check out my other videos that I've done on this channel, which are of course a little different from this, but check them out nonetheless. Like I said, if you found value in this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment and stating value added. Yes, that's the comment I want you to write, value added, in the comment section. And be sure to subscribe if you like this content, and if you want to hear more of this type of content, then be sure to let me know in the comment section as well. So until the next video, Most High is willing, take care of yourselves, love yourselves, accept your insecurities, acknowledge them, accept them, work on them, and know that you are still beautiful with or without your hair. So